Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone who has supported this campaign, Straight Path Academy, where we are trying to establish an Islamic school here in Jacksonville, Florida. May Allah make it easy for us to raise the rest of the funds. And as if we needed any more encouragement, just 2 days ago, this article was published about a middle school here in Jacksonville. A middle school that is not far from the main Islamic center here. It would not surprise me if many Muslims sent their kids to this middle school. This was posted on Yahoo News. The title of the article is, Video of Students Having Sex Airdropped to Students at Duval County Middle School. It says, Fletcher Middle School parents were alerted to an inappropriate and obscene video shared with students through airdrop and text message. Parents told Action News Jax the video appeared to show 2 students having sex. Action News Jax's law and safety expert Dale Carson explained because teens were allegedly in the video, it could be considered child pornography. These are extraordinary charges if it involves underage individuals engaging in sexual behavior, he said. This is going to be something that is fully investigated. They'll use tracking on the internet to determine who did what, when, and who filmed it. That person can be charged with child production, which is a 20-year offense. Principal McKenzie said, while I'm disappointed by this event, it does provide an opportunity to ask for your support in talking to your children about the appropriate use of the technology available to them on their phones. Creating or sharing inappropriate content can have life-changing consequences. And there's a video reporting on the incident that we will take a look at, but first let's share some thoughts. Number 1, just last week I shared a video of a public school teacher telling us how prevalent use of phones are in schools amongst students now. He says it's so common and it's so widespread that teachers are even giving up telling kids to get off their phones. The second thing I want to mention is this behavior, although it is shocking, it should be expected. As somebody who attended public school myself in America, if we had smartphones back when I was in school, this sort of thing would have definitely been happening. Don't think that this is such abnormal behavior when it comes to public school. The only thing that's somewhat unique about this is that people were caught. I've personally spoken to young adults who went to public school here in Jacksonville and graduated not too long ago, and even back when they were in school, back when perhaps smartphone use was less widespread, they still had group chats where they would share explicit images with each other. This is stuff your kids are not going to tell you. But for those of us who have a certain position in the community where we counsel, where we are imams, people come to us and they share information with us. Parents told me about how explicit images of their own kids have showed up on social media. We have to stop thinking that this can't happen to our kids. And if you think deeply about this topic, when children are raised in an environment where they're not even really told that this behavior is wrong, what do you expect them to do? This society doesn't teach that in and of itself, things like promiscuity and pornography and drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana are wrong. What this society promotes is the idea that you're free to do whatever you want regarding these things. The exception is that they say you can't do it until you reach a certain age. So what do young people think? They think, well, okay, yeah, I'm young, but there's nothing inherently wrong with doing these things. So what's the big deal? Why can't I do it just because I'm young? This is exactly the type of thing I used to think when I was young. However, as Muslims, we know that regardless of your age, these things are wrong. When children are taught this and they are raised upon this, it gives them a completely different perspective. It's not enough to send our children to a school and tell them, you can't do this, this is haram. Yet everyone around them and everything around them is promoting it and encouraging it. Then what does Islam become to them? It becomes this restrictive thing that makes them an outcast. The reality is the outcasts should be the ones who are doing this sinful behavior. This society is becoming so backwards that the ones who want to remain pure are ridiculed, and the ones who indulge in every sort of sinful behavior are praised. Not only do children need to be in an environment where they are taught what is right and wrong, where they are around other people who enjoin good and forbid evil, but they also need to be in an environment where they practice their deen. They need to be in an environment where they are praying, where they are learning about their religion, where they are living Islam so that their iman goes up, so that they taste the sweetness of faith. Islam is not just about taking things away, but it's also about providing things. What sort of environment are we providing our children? What sort of alternatives are we giving them to all the haram around them? Now lastly, let's take a look at a clip from the news segment.
The principal from Fletcher Middle School sending out an alarming message to parents, saying in part, quote, I'm calling to share some disappointing news. but it is news I believe you need to be aware of as parents. We've recently learned that someone sent inappropriate, obscene video with students via text message and airdrop. McKenzie says the school is working closely with law enforcement on the investigation. He says they have already identified one individual allegedly involved. The spokesperson for the Jacksonville Beach Police Department says juvenile citations have been issued and the school is aware of it.
Based upon what I know, it sounds like maybe the male was the driving force behind getting this out to his friends, and then it was solicited or transmitted throughout other phones. But that's what I've learned from my source.
First Coast News crime analyst Mark Bachman says more than likely the people involved in the video won't be charged, but there will be some form of pre-trial intervention.
And they'll be working closely with the schools. It could be some school expulsion, some other disciplinary actions, maybe even moving individuals away from certain schools to another school.
All right, so in closing, I just want to highlight something that the principal mentioned. He said that allegedly, according to some of the information that was presented to him, it seems that the boy was the one who was the driving force behind this whole incident. These are the type of people that some of our Muslim daughters are sitting next to in class. I pray and I ask Allah that He protect our children. I pray that Allah guides the non-Muslims to refrain from engaging in such behavior. But please do not think that this sort of thing cannot happen to your children. We need to take the necessary measures to try our very best to prevent this sort of thing from happening and then put our trust in Allah. But let's ask ourselves, how much effort are we really putting in to establishing good Islamic schools for our children? I know for many of us, this is a priority. If you would also like to make it a priority, please consider donating to Straight Path Academy. Together, we can do right by our children. We can raise them in a good Islamic environment, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for us. May Allah guide us to what's best. May Allah protect us and our children. JazakumAllahukhairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.